Hi guys, Demonic Sensation here. This week I'll be looking at a ranking system for Rainbow Six Siege ops. Now the in-game menus do actually disclose what difficulty these ops are actually recommended. This difficulty system that I am actually going to be doing in this video is my opinion what difficulty these ops should be at. Because at the moment I believe that there are a few ops in there which are classified as difficult, but they're not quite difficult. So I'm hoping with this video I should be able to help a new player decide on what ops they should be buying, what ops are going to be more beneficial for solo queuing, what are going to be best for team play, etc. So we're just going to jump right in. Alright guys, let's dive in. We're going to check out the S.A.T ops first up. However, we're going to progress all the way up to the Burnt Horizon ops. We will not be including, for the purpose of this video, the new Phantom Sight ops because at the moment they're not quite fleshed out. I will give, however, a recommendation as to roughly where they will belong. I believe right at the end, but like I said, we're going to start off with the SAS ops and try and work out whereabouts they're going to be. Now, starting off with Sledge, I believe he is probably one of the best intro ops that you can get to date. For a new player, he has grenades, he has a great gun, he has breaching capabilities, he has all these amazing things going for him. He's a 2-speed, 2 armor, and honestly, I would put him as a very easy to understand op. There's not much to him. You got a breaching hammer, you walk up to a wall, you hit it. And he can't really do too much damage to the rest of the team if you're a new player. Keep in mind, I will be doing this as a casual playlist, not as so much as a ranked playlist. I will, in due time, make up a video for a ranked playlist and who I recommend you get and utilize the most in certain situations. However, for the purpose of this video, this is going to be purely for new beginners. So, we're going to work our way on through the SAS and go on to Thatcher. Now Thatcher, his device is crucial to clearing out Bandit batteries, mute jammers, K devices, mozzies, spiders. He is a top tier op and his gadget is extremely valuable. Now, as he is in a casual playlist, he's not critical, but if you want to play this game right, you're going to want to utilize his devices within game, playing in a ranked playlist and making use of his utility before he cops a bullet in the face. So we are going to chuck him I'm going to put him in the moderate playlist, a moderate tier list, rather. Now, the reason I put him here, he basically has the same utility as Sledge. However, apart from the SMG-11, he does not have that. He only has a pistol. However, his gadget puts him into that higher tier. So, if you die as a Thatcher, it could mean the end of the round for your team. If you get spawn peeked, it could be game over and you cannot get through a wall and your teammates will have to figure out a different way around and attacking a site. The reason I put Thatcher in that is because of his ability to stay alive. Now, as a new player to the game, this is going to be a very difficult thing to do, because it takes time to understand the maps, figure them out, and get good at the game. So I honestly, I would put him at a moderate tier. Now, Smoke. His guns, they're good. They're not amazing, but he has one of the best shotguns in the game, which is amazing for opening up kill holes, creating lines of sight to different areas of a map, denial roll because of his gas canisters. I'm going to put him in a difficult category, because endgame, you want to Smoke to stay alive to the end of the round as a defender. Now, the reason you want him to stay alive, the new ranked playlist consists of only bomb mode, and in bomb mode, Smoke is crucial to stop plants. He has not so much become a stable op. There are now workarounds in place, such as Maestro, Echo, a whole variety of different ops. However, Smoke is best utilized on majority of bottom floor to top floor defense rounds. So I'm going to put him in the difficult role purely for the fact that he's going to be able to deny a lot of time. He's going to waste time as well as do damage to enemies. Being caught in the proximity of his gas canisters, it can do a lot of damage very quickly, especially if you've got a think boost, which we'll talk about later. To be honest, I would consider putting him in the very complex, but I'm reserving this for specialized ops. Like, you gotta really know the game to be able to classify it in these very complex roles. So I'm gonna stick with the difficult playlist, and we'll move on to Mute. Now, Mute, his gadget is incredibly useful, but mainly only at the starting part of a round, and can, if untouched, can remain crucial at the end game of a round. Now, he has the same weapons as Mute, as in he has the same shotgun, correct, and the same pistol. Does not have. No, they gave him the SMG-11. So the only gun that he has different, I believe, is his machine gun, his little submachine gun. So I'm going to put him in a moderate role, and I think he's not a difficult op to use generally, but to understand how to utilize his gadget well makes him more difficult than most ops. He's not a point and shoot type op. He's early game crucial. Once he's got his gadgets down, it doesn't really matter. if he stays alive. But the point is to get his gadgets in a place where they're going to be useful at an end game point in a round. Because late droning to a round can be the win or lose of a round, win or loss of a round. So yeah, I'll stick with moderate, I think, on that one. All right, so Ash. She is by far one of the most easiest ops to understand. Basically, any player that comes from COD, Battlefield, any other first-person shooter-based game can pick her up and just feel comfortable. She has stun grenades, breaching rounds, breaching charges, 2 great guns. The R4C, now it doesn't have an ACOG, but it's still a very good gun. And the G36C, with the lower fire rate, it's still a decent weapon. Generally, I will run the R4C on most maps. However, when there's a long line of sight, I may switch over to the G36C, depending on who I believe I'm versing. But she's a great all-round op. And the best part is, she's a 3-speed 1 armor. So you can move quick around a map. So I will leave her in the easy to understand tier, because she's going to be a newbie's best friend in Rainbow Six. Alright. Thermite. I'm going to put him at a moderate. Now, the reason I say moderate, like Thatcher, he is very important op. You do not want to lose him at a spawn peak at the very beginning of a round. I believe it's best to not put a newbie on a crucial op. Now, like Thatcher, often Thatcher and Thermite, they go hand in hand. They attack sites together because their gadgets complement each other. However, Thermite has an even riskier role than a Thatcher does, because he can be exposed to gas grenades, he can be exposed to impacts, C4s, Bandit charges, a whole bunch of other risky plays. And if he gets peaked and he loses his gadget or he dies while trying to utilize his gadget, it becomes a endgame changer. You can lose rounds by losing your Thermite, especially if it's very early in a round and you haven't utilized your gadget. I will put him at a moderate. He could be considered also difficult along with Thatcher. So for that reason, I will leave him at moderate. Otherwise, he has a great gun. Average to great gun. Not bad. The 556 Ti, I think it's called. It's decent. Not an amazing fire rate, but good damage in there. Plus it's got an ACOG, so can't go wrong for the most part. Now, Pulse. I'm going to put him at a difficult op. Now, to utilize a Pulse, you need to have some degree of map knowledge. and understand where pushes are coming from. I believe I could put him into a complex role, but I believe that there's two ops that I would put in the complex role, and I'm reserving those for the ops that I find later on. Now, he's got a mediocre gun, not amazing. The UMP 45 it's okay. Slow fire rate. He's got C4, which that complements his gadget entirely. So, but it is dependent on knowing where the push is going to be coming from, communicating with your teammates. Now, if you're solo queuing, this is not always possible. He can be a difficult op at the best of times. And in the lower levels, he can be also chaotic and useless. At higher levels, he can be feared. I think, had I not reserved this top tier for two ops in particular, Pulse would definitely be within the complex ops. Now, for my first complex op, Castle. Now, Castle is a pick that I tell newbies to avoid, because I've seen so many rounds lost due to Castle placements. I have close to 1,000 hours in Siege on Xbox and Untold on PC, and Castle, he can make and break rounds, and in the hands of a noob, he will be more harm than good. Because what you'll find is newbies, they will want to use the castle barricades to barricade themselves within the rooms and just hide in there. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've all done that. I myself used to run castle like that back when I first started playing Siege. However, he is best utilized off-site and basically to channel enemies into kill boxes. Now, newbies don't have the game knowledge to be able to understand this early on. Some long-term players still don't understand how to play Castle. Castle is also a very niche pick, so you can bring him to, I don't know, say Border, and he could be a very useful op. Constantly, he could be a hugely influential op. But you take him to Bank and you barricade all the doorways to a room, and now you find you have to attack through these castle barricades late in the round and trying to retake against a 5-stack and you're solo and got castle barricades in your way. The likelihood of you winning that round, especially as a noob, it's definitely not in your favour. So yeah, newbies, probably get some game time behind you before you actually delve into Castle. Alright, Twitch. I'm going to chuck her in basic. Now, I'm not going to put her in easy to understand purely for a gadget, but she's a very easy op to understand. However, she's got a lot of counters now. She also counters a lot of gadgets on the defender side too. I rate her higher for that gadget. However, if she was only gun heavy, she would be easy. So, the F2, easily the best gun in the game. Fire rate, damage, ACOG, definitely the best gun in the game, even with the nerf to the recoil. Her gadget counters Bandit batteries, Jaeger devices, mute jammers, mirror windows, echo drones, or yokais rather, alibi holograms, maestro cams, Mozzie spiders, Cades, electroclaws. Other gadgets, Kapkans, Valkyrie cams. There's very few things that a Twitch drone cannot take out. I think the only ones that they can't take out, frost mats, it doesn't really counter a it doesn't really counter Vigil. It can, if you get lucky enough to shoot him while he's invisible, but generally it's going to be very difficult to hit him. He won't counter, she won't counter rather, a Tachanka, unless you zap him 5 times and waste your drones. But yeah, generally she's going to counter everything on the opposition's team. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna leave her at basic, just because the amount of things her gadget can do. But she's got 2 drones, so it's not critical if she loses one early in a round. I could consider putting her in moderate if this was a ranked playlist. Alright, let's jump into Monty. I'm going to go moderate. Here's why. He's got a shield. He requires some form of teamwork though. You don't generally find people go in with a shield and get kills. They will push and they will hold doorways. They will stop the enemy team pushing, and they will basically deny plant denial. So he's got smokes, I believe. I'm sure he's still got smokes. There's not much to say. He's in a 1v5 situation. He's going to lose 99% of the time. But in a one-on-one situation and plants down, even with a noob, you can still win those rounds. Just stay extended, back off into a corner, and you can still win rounds just by clutching it out with a Monty. yeah, moderate. Not much to say. Dock. Very basic op. I won't say easy to use because for the teamwork side, he can be a very selfish op. You get hurt, you heal yourself, you heal another teammate. It's got a double use too. So you may find a noob may get out their gadget, and if they want to stim themselves, they might accidentally shoot the needle into the wall instead of injecting themselves. But yeah, that a stim pistol, the ACOG on the MP5, even though the MP5's got a bit of a nerf, he's a 3 armor, 1 speed, so he's got a bit of longevity to him. Can take 1 to 2 more bullets, I believe, depending on where he gets hit. Very, very simple op to understand. Rook, you can't get much simpler. Basically, Dock all his guns. The only difference is his gadgets. It's a bunch of t-shirts, drop them down at the start of a round, and you're free to do whatever you want. Go spawn peep, go reinforce the wall, go learn the map. Not much to tell. Rook is one of the easiest ops. Alright, let's go on to IQ. Now, I'm going to place her in the difficult category. Her gadget is very difficult to use. Now, she can find all electrical devices, I believe, in like a 30-meter radius. Don't hold me to that distance. However, she can be crucial on certain maps as well. So, like Skyscraper, Consulate, to find all Valkyrie cams or Jaeger devices, like in Bank. She's a very important op in situational conditions. So she's a very niche operator to start with. But then she also has a couple of decent guns. The 5.52 Commando is a really good gun. Low fire rate, but still good damage to it. But her gadget, realistically, it's low impact. She is a 3-speed 1 armor, but in regards to a gadget, I believe that she is a bit of a difficult op to understand. However, for a newbie, she could even fit into the basic category as well. I am putting her in the difficult category purely for her complexity and trying to find gadgets and utilize them. Now, the reason I say she can be put into basic is she's not really a critical op. If you get spawn peaks at the start of a round, it's not critical that you have that IQ on the board. She's not as crucial as a Thermite, she's not crucial as a Thatcher. If she dies, then it's no huge loss. But for the complexity of a gadget and understanding it, I will put her at a difficult. There is one benefit which could potentially be helpful to beginners. She can help you find all the stationary cams, all the default cams, inside and outside. But apart from that, I believe that she's a very difficult op in the hands of most players. Some players still have not mastered her gadget. Excuse me. Blitz. Now this piece of shit has been bothering people ever since, I believe it was Operation Blood Orchid, when he got his buff. I'm not 100% sure if that's correct, but it's been a while since he got his speed buff, and he's been a pain in the ass ever since. However, he is still, I would consider, a bit of a difficult type op to use. There's not much to say. He's got a flash on his shield. It's got a cooldown time of 7 seconds, I think it is now. Lets you get in close. You can melee people. You can now down them, but it takes 2 hits to kill them now. He's just a bitch of an op to use. It seems like it's one of those ops that, for me in particular, I will use him, but I will die. If somebody else uses him, they get a 5k. It's... Shield operators are very niche style operators, and they can be difficult to use, but in hands of a veteran, they can be very strong ops. For a newbie, I will put him as a moderate op. I don't believe he's going to be as useful as, say, like Hibana or Ash, Sledge, Thermite, but he's still a decent op to get at the moment. He can still be a pain for the opposing side. So yeah, I'll leave him at a moderate. I won't put him in higher difficulty because his gadget is easy to understand. It's just how to utilize it and how to push. You've got to communicate with teammates to get anything out of that push. So yeah, moderate. I'll stick with that. Jaeger. I'm going to put him in as a easy to understand op. And the reason I put him here, great gun, great guns. His shotgun's still pretty good too. That 416 carbine, in my opinion, one of the best guns in the game. Definitely one of the best defending weapons in the game. It's got high damage, decent fire rate. It's got little recoil. It's a real good gun. His gadget, crucial to a defense. You put down his magpies, and worst you can do, you can stop a Fuze device. All 5 pellets, if you put them all in, or all 5 pucks rather. I don't know why I said pellets. Stop all 5 pucks, and you get 1 additional, I don't know, flashbang or a grenade out of one of the devices. That's if you stack them all in one area. But he is also useful if you put a device down and near it, and somebody tosses a grenade in, it gives you time to move and maneuver. It will tell you when you're being pressured. But here's a set and forget type op. You put your gadget down, you don't need to worry about it later on. If it gets taken out, it gets taken out. You will learn the best placements. It just takes time. But excuse me, he'll be one of the easiest ops to use. Let's go into Bandit. I'm going to put Bandit at basic. Everybody knows what to do with Bandit. The reason I don't put him lower is there's a bit of a skill to Bandit tricking. Not going to say that a newbie's going to be doing Bandit tricking to start off with, but you can utilize your barbed wire wrong or your Bandit batteries wrong. He has a C4 as well instead of the barbed wire, but it's either what you want to utilize and what you're trying to do in a round. There's not much to tell. Amazing gun. Probably the best iron sights on any gun in the game on his MP7, arguably. He's a good all-round op. 3 speed, 1 armor. Speed in this game is crucial. Yeah, I'll put him at a basic, purely for his gadget. Glaz. I'm going to drop him in moderate. I will say moderate purely for the fact that his rifle, his OTS, it's a good gun. Good stopping power. Although he does have new changes. Now I'm going to leave him at moderate. So what you'll find is he's had new changes recently. He has to stand still to utilize the full extent of the night vision, or banana vision as it gets often referred to as. You have to stand still to be able to utilize and see through smoke. Thermal, sorry, not night vision, it's thermal. Apart from that, he's good at holding angles. And if you just want a noob to hold an angle for you, that can be done with a Glaz. Same as a Blackbeard, which we'll get to a little bit later, but he's a decent op, but he could be better at the moment, I believe. But he's still not an easy op for a beginner, just because of smoke plants and trying to utilize his gadget in the best circumstances. There's a bit of timing involved regarding the Glaz, which noobs may not be aware of. So that's why I rate him a little bit higher than basic. And you need to be a decent shot to utilize the Glaz as well. Fuze. I'm going to put him at a moderate. The reason I put him at a moderate, he has the potential to harm your team. If utilised by a noob, say he places down his cluster charge and detonates it, and you've got two of your teammates pushing into the room at the exact moment he detonates, you are now down to a 3 stack against a 5 stack, and for that reason alone I will chuck him at a moderate. I believe he has everything else going for him. Amazing gun in that AK-12. It's like best gun for damage on the attack side by far. Actually, I think it comes second to Glaz's DMR, but as it's an assault rifle, we can't put that in the same class, so probably the best assault rifle in the game. Yeah, his gadget is really the only reason I'll rate him a bit higher in difficulty. Otherwise, I believe he would be sitting at least in basic. Yeah, I'm happy with that decision. Kapkan. Pretty damn easy op to use. In fact, no, we're going to put him at easy. Pretty damn easy to use. Now, like Fuze, he could be deadly to teammates as well if in close proximity to an enemy. However, due to circumstances, that may not happen, and it's very rare that will happen. It can be unlucky if it does happen, but he often will do more help than harm long term. So he also has a great gun in that 9019. Probably one of the most stable guns on the defender side too. Definitely one of the best. Definitely one of the best guns for defense. Very little recoil, decent damage. His gadget, strong, especially at end time and around the end game. And even at high levels too, he can be a strong op to use, especially in the hands of a capable Kapkan. All right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Impacts, 2 speed, 2 armor. Can't go wrong. No. Oh, I'm happy where he is. Easy to understand. Nah, just joking. Meme ops. Look, anybody who runs Tachanka, I don't care if you hate him or love him, he doesn't even belong in the rest. He's a meme op. He has by far the weakest gadget in the game, yet also the strongest. Now, from my experience, he is useful in 2 situations, potentially 3. Now, you could put him behind a mirror window, open up the mirror window, and Tachanka just sits on his turret, aiming through the window. That's one option. The second option, he sits in the top floor main window to balcony on the east side on Hereford. Sits there and holds that doorway and window. Strong up there. Enemies have a tough time getting in. And for me, the most effective way to utilize a Tachanka is if you want a wall open, you bring a Tachanka and you can just pump that fucking wall full of holes without destroying the wooden beams in between. So if you just want holes but you don't want rotation holes, Tachanka's your man. But apart from that, very, very underpowered op. Hopefully he gets a buff sometime soon. I don't recommend him being used as a op to learn the game. Once you're capable of playing the game, he's probably your last resort op that you buy. But he's probably cheaper than, say, Mozzie or Gridlock or Nomad or whatever. So you could probably get him early on too still. But it's up to you. Alright, so we're on to the DLC ops. Alright, let's start with Operation Black Ice. Buck. Moderate. No. I'm going to put him in basic. And the reason I say basic, like Sledge, he can't really do a lot of harm on attack. He's got grenades. He's got a very tough gun to use in that C8. The KMRS, one of the strongest DMRs in the game, but still not as consistent as who's got one of the better DMRs? Blackbeard. It's probably got a good DMR. I don't know. Yeah, I would say he's probably got one of the better DMRs in the game. But generally, most people are going to go for the C8. They want that fire rate. The skeleton key is one of the most useful gadgets in the game, in my opinion, due to its verticality. Now, as a noob, I don't believe you're going to get a lot of verticality out of him, but it will help noobs learn maps quicker. So I believe we put him as a basic for that reason. The skeleton key, you think you've got about 25 shots, 25 buckshots, I think. Don't hold me to that. Yeah, not much to tell. Point, shoot, open up a hole. Frost. Easy to understand. I honestly don't think you can do any damage as a Frost. Not to defending teammates. You can put down a frost mat under a window, in a doorway, at a corner of a doorway, top of stairs, wherever you want to put it. And depending on the team you're versing, you will find that you may get 1, 2 downs per round with those frost mats, depending on where you utilise those placements. It also comes down to what levels you were playing against. The C1, not an amazing gun. The fire rate's pretty low, but it's a mediocre weapon. It's not amazing, but it works. The Super 90 is still a decent shotgun, even though it's no longer the sniper shotgun it used to be back in Operation Black Ice. But it's still a decent shotgun. Still not as good as the M4. The S.A.S shotgun. I'm blanking on the name of it. Yeah. Blackbeard. I'm going to put him at moderate. No. I'm going to put him at basic. And the reason I'm utilising him as a basic tier, he's got a shield in front of his face, and he's got 2 of them. You put him on a rappel on a window, there's a chance that a noob's going to get a kill. Doesn't have amazing guns. The carbine, the DMR, not carbine. The DMR, it's probably the stronger of the 2 weapons. The Deagle recently got a buff, so that's amazing. But yeah, he's not a bad op. He's not really going to hinder a push. He can only really bring benefit in the hands of a noob. So I will drop him in the basic tier. Valkyrie. I'm going to put her as basic as well. Now, there's arguments for putting her into at least the moderate to difficult category. The reason I don't put her lower is because of her throw curve. But generally you'll find that a noob, they'll throw down a cam somewhere inside of the map. And unless it's in a super obvious spot, like on the center of a wall, black and white surface, it's not really going to be seen unless it's getting spammed and pinged on or whatever. That utility is still going to be there in the later parts of a round. The MPX, not the best gun in the game, very, very mediocre gun. The SPAS-12 is decent close range. Still got the Deagle. She's a very powerful op when it comes to intelligence, especially in the hands of an experienced player. But for the sake of a noob, she's still capable. I think Valkyrie deserves to sit in at least the basic tier. Capitao. I'm going to put him in the moderate. And here's why. Now, his gadget if not utilized correctly, can be difficult to open walls, can kill teammates. The smokes on the crossbow, if not placed correctly, can cost rounds. His guns can be a little bit difficult to use, even though he is a 3-speed, 1 armor. He's probably one of the more difficult ones to use in the game. I would say yeah, definitely moderate to difficult playstyle for him. Now, I love his LMG. Ever since they gave him that new scope, that is probably one of the most fun guns in the game to use. Along with his gadget at the moment, which is extremely overpowered, which I believe we're going to see a nerf coming sometime soon to him. But yeah, I think as a moderate attacker, I think that's about right. I think that's where we should put him. Cav. Now there's arguments for basic to difficult. I could put her anywhere here. I'm not going to put her easy because the pistol is a real nightmare to use now due to the nerf that happened not too long ago. She is not a complex op. I will argue she's difficult, but she's not that difficult to use. I'm going to put her in basic with a shotgun or her little submachine gun. She can still do a bit of damage. Her pistol, get close quarters, you can do a lot of damage very quickly. But still, if there is communication, I will say that she belongs in the basic category for a newbie, as long as she's with experienced players. Otherwise, let me rethink this. No, I'm going to put her in moderate, just purely for the fact that the flank in a round from a cav, timing is crucial. Now, if a cav does not push it at the right time, the round can be lost. It's basically you are running with a 4-stack for parts of a round, because cav is generally, she's off hiding somewhere. She's there to make your opponents nervous. She's a difficult op to use in the hands of a noob. In a well-versed player, she can be good, and she can be very difficult to go against in the hands of a veteran. I think moderate's probably a good place for her. Not recommended for the beginners, even though it lets you understand the maps very quickly and the layout of them. I think until you actually have that knowledge from other ops, which you'll generally get. You'll get that through attacking and roaming on defense, like as a Jaeger or Kapkan or something. I think there are better ops to roam with to start with. Yeah, I'll leave her at moderate. She's a hard one to place, I believe. Hibana. I'm going to drop her in the difficult category. Now, she sort of fits the same, excuse me, the same category as Thatcher and Thermite, except she's really important for hatches, breaching reinforced walls where you just want to make a kill hole. You don't really want to enter as much. She can be used for entry, but you got to get the pellets in the right place. So I'm placing her higher than moderate because of the complexity of the use of her gadget. So if you put those pellets in the wrong spot, it's a one use after one shot type situation. She can be a difficult op to use in regards to that. She's got decent primary, even though it's got a low ammo capacity. It's still a decent primary weapon. With that assault rifle, the shotgun's still good too, though generally you don't see many Hibana mains run the shotgun. Bearing 9 is difficult to control, even in the hands of an experienced player. The pistol is decent as well. She's not the easiest op to use as a beginner, especially the importance of her gadget in a round. I think we'll place her higher in the list. Echo. One of the few operators that I've deemed as a very complex op to use. Now, Echo, there's some maps that you could argue he is moderate. Vault on Bank, for instance. You could place him as a moderate defender because you can sit on your drone all in safety. However, there's some situations, like if you're playing Consulate, for instance, you want to use a yokai to stop a plant inside office, for instance. Where do you play as a Echo? You got to utilize that time between being on your drone, have the communication in there with your team, utilize the gadget at the right time, keep your drones safe, keep it away from enemy sight, try and keep it away from an IQ that may be potentially brought. There's a lot that goes into an Echo and how he's played. He is probably one of the most difficult ops in the game to use, if not the most difficult op. Personally, to me, he is one of the most difficult ops. I struggle using him occasionally. Like I said, I've got 1,000 hours in Xbox on Siege, plus extra time on PC. Not recommended for a noob. Definitely not. Let's move on though. Let's place Jackal. into a basic category. Now, he could be placed lower, but for the sake of communication, we're going to place him in basic. Now, there's a little bit more complexity to him as well, like recognizing the type of footprints that you'll actually find. Different footprints what am I saying? Different footprints will help you understand what ops you're going to be facing. So, for instance, one set of footprints will show that you are tracking a 3-speed 1 armor, and another set of footprints will show that you're tracking a 3 armor 1 speed, because they all have a different footprint pattern rather. His gadget is easy to use. You find a footprint, you scan it, then the person gets pinged. Great gun, that C7A. Even the light machine gun. It's pretty good too, the PDW. The shotgun doesn't really get utilised that much. His secondary shotgun, that's good. Making kill holes. The pistol is decent as well. Very strong op and pretty easy to use. Probably a safe option to chuck him on a Jackal. Let's move on to Mira. I'm going to put Mira in difficult, and not for the sake that her gadget is a difficult tool. The piece of utility itself is easy to place. You put it on the wall, you got a mirror. You chuck it on a soft wall, you still got a mirror. The problem comes when you put it in the hands of a noob and they place it on a wall that opens the sight to more lines of sight that you didn't want. It can be a difficult fight if that happens, and it's risky. If you have somebody that's experienced in the game, they can tell you where to put the mirror placement. I would say, by all means, bring a mirror, get a mirror. Pretty easy to use, great gun, shotgun as well, like Jackal. Pistol is still good. I recommend, if you're going to solo with her, yeah, you'll get some learning out of her by placing it in random places, but more often it's going to do more harm than good. I place her in the difficult category for the sake of that, assuming that somebody is going there with no excuse me, with no teammates. This is just solo queuing. Ying. I'm going to chuck her in moderate, as she used to be easier to use before they reversed her gadget. You used to just be able to spam Candelas, rush in, get a kill. Now you've got to think about how you're going to use your Candelas, because you've got to cook them now. You've got to reverse cook them like you cook a grenade. So the longer you hold it, the shorter the fuse is for actually detonation. It's a little bit counterintuitive. If used correctly, she can be a very strong op, but she is not a beginner op for the use of her gadget. Good guns though. That LMG it's a nice LMG. Not high damage, but very stable. The suppressed shotgun. She shares that with Lesion and Nuke. It's strong too, especially in use with the Candelas. It's probably the strongest op that shotgun's used on. Lesion. Not much else to say. You put a goo mine down, end of a round, somebody steps on it, you can win a round just by place the trap. Oh, look at that. All 3 trap ops too. All in there. The only situation he could be more difficult is in a ranked game where the Lesion needs to stay alive longer to get the most use of his gadget. Because of the way his gadget, because of the way it works, I'd say in a ranked game, best to leave that to a more experienced player, but Lesion's a good intro op still. He's got impacts, decent gun. He's got that suppressed shotgun, which can be a bit of a beast in close range. But yeah, pretty all-rounded op. And he's pretty strong in late game as well. Ella. I'm going to chuck her in basic. Very easy op to understand. You put down her mines, somebody walks into them, they detonate. The only reason I don't place her lower is because the recoil on her Scorpion Evo, the shotgun is extremely overpowered at the moment. But yeah, I would place her as easy if it was not for the Scorpion Evo. She's got a shield, she's got barbed wire, not hard to explain, pretty easy to understand. She's also got the down but not out gadget deployment as well. Very few times that really comes in handy, but that's a cool little unique part of her traits. Zofia. Very similar to Ash. I'm going to put her in basic. And the reason I'm putting her in basic is purely for the fact of her concussion grenades. To get the best use out of those. Now, it takes sometimes a little bit of game knowledge to know where put those concussion grenades where you get the most effect out of them. But apart from that, very easy op to understand. Once again, she's just a fragger with a good gun with breaching rounds and charges as well, breaching charges. Pistol as well, along with Ella, has the pretty decent reflex sight on it. But yeah, very, very easy op to understand. Dokkabei. I'm going to put her as a moderate. Her gadget, very easy to understand. You make a phone call, hold a button. Phones ring, you hear where the operators are. You get a kill, you hack their phones. You now have cameras inside sites across the map. The reason I place her so high is because of her weapons. The SMG-12, ridiculous recoil. She's got a DMR, a very weak DMR as well. Her other primary weapon, the Boss G, it's a meme weapon. It's a bit of fun. Nobody really runs it unless it's on casual. You may find the odd try-hard on ranked uses it, but generally it's a weapon that gets underutilized. Not much to tell. I believe she has smokes as well. Smokes and stuns. Don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% positive on that. Vigil. I'm going to drop him in basic. It's a very selfish gadget he's got. Cloaks you from drones. Stop you from being droned out. In the hands of a noob, it's pretty easy to understand. You press a button, you're invisible to a drone. He's a stealth op, basically. Sort of like Cav, except you can hide in the open. Good gun in that K18. SMG-12, like I said, as Dokkabei's secondary. It's pretty chaotic. The other machine pistol's probably the better option, though that does not have a sight. He's a decent op to use. He's very much just a fragger. He doesn't really do much else. He doesn't bring much else to the team. He's a roamer / fragger. Now, Lion. He's still a viable op. For a noob to get the most utilization out of him, you know what? Easy. You press a button, he pings whoever's moving, and they get 3, 5 successive pings, I can't recall. But there's a very good chance if you utilize that gadget at any point, your team will get a kill. I would say he's too overpowered still, even with the nerf to him, one of countless nerfs. Not a really good op in the game. One of probably the most hated ops in the game, along with Blitz. Thinker, another push button op. You get a bit of a health boost and a recoil drop when utilizing her gadget. She does have a lot of counters, lots of little things that sort of affect her. Like, for instance, if you are utilizing her gadget and you run into toxic smoke, you will actually lose health quicker. If you hit a Lesion mine, you will lose your ability straight away. If you're concussed, you use her gadget and you'll be able to hear straight away. She has a lot of counters, and she counters a lot of things as well. She's got a lot of little tweaks that she does. And she doesn't just heal herself, she heals the rest of the team for a temporary period as well. But once again, very easy to understand. Decent weapons, apart from that god awful reload time and that LMG. Probably the longest reload time in a game. But simple to use. Alibi. And then put her at basic. Even though best utilised in the hands of a veteran, to utilise her gadget well takes a lot of knowledge. But to just use her gadget at the lower ranks and excuse me, make use of that gadget, it's pretty easy to do. You throw it down, it stays there to get shot or the end of the round. Decent gun in that MX4 Storm. The AA-12 is a little bit chaotic, but I believed it has been buffed with the recoil, I believe. I haven't used it in forever. Probably a little bit better than it used to be. The shotgun pistol, amazing for opening up kill holes. And then you got, is it the bailiff? The bailiff is the shotgun pistol. So you've got two pistols. One's a shotgun pistol, the other one's just a normal snub pistol, basically, and does a bit of damage. It's probably one of the stronger pistols in the game. Good balanced all-round op. Maestro. I'm going to drop him in moderate. Now, he's similar to Echo, except he doesn't require to be on his gadget for the most of the round. He can utilize it in plant situations. it won't generally stop a plant, but it can delay a plant. The outer, probably one of the best defending weapons in the game. It needs to be nerfed. It's so damn good. Why would you bring your A12 when you've got the outer? He's got the same pistols as Alibi. Decent. His gadget sees through smoke. Is strong. But the reason I place him higher is just because of the integration with his gadget. He cannot use it at the same time he is active. He is required to be on his cams when utilising it. And you are required to move your cams because your teammates cannot. So if you set up one of your master cams in a wrong place and it's facing the wrong direction, that cam can be basically useless apart from sound whoring. Easy. That's why I would say he's probably a moderate. Difficult op. Maverick. Now, if you think about how Maverick is used, you go up to a wall, you put a hole in it. What's a noob likely to do? I walk up to the wall, put a hole in it, and pick it and die. I walk up to the main wall, put a hole in it, and I'll get shot in the face. It's probably one of the most difficult gadgets in the game to utilize. It's up there with Echo's Yokai and IQ's scanner, except it has limited usage. Apart from that, two great guns in that DMR and the M4. So there's the AR and the DM. The AR is the DMR and the M4 is the machine gun. The assault rifle. The pistol's okay. Got claymores, stuns, 3 speed, 1 armor. It's a good op, but for the sake of his gadget, I'll place him as a difficult op. And one big reason I place him so high up, above, say, a Thermite or a Thatcher, if you have a Maverick go put a blowtorch hole at a wall that you need to Thermite, if he goes and puts it right in the center of that wall, you can basically say goodbye to opening that wall with that Thermite charge, because Maverick has now destroyed any chance of you getting in, because that charge is going to be shot or blown up or whatever every time. So Maverick can be very difficult to use in a noob's hands. It can be very costly. I'm going to put Clash in difficult. She could arguably be very complex, but I think it's more so to do with communication with a Clash. She has a decent weapon in that pistol, and her gadget is strong. However, she cannot utilise them both at the same time unless you're glitching like they did in Burnt Horizon, which that was a fun season, the end of that season. But yeah, she's got barbed wire and impacts. They're both useful to an extent. Barbed wire can be even more so useful at delaying a push. But generally, Clash, you're going to need a bit of a teamwork to utilise her. She's not an easy op to use at the best of circumstances. Nomad. Easy. Easy because you put your trap down. It's a set and forget type trap. It alerts you when an enemy approaches. It actually gives you a split second to react to that enemy as well, while they are unable to react to you. Quite overpowered at high play. But yeah, good guns, MX, and the what they call it, the AK. Yeah, the AK. Is it the MX? I believe it's something like that. Anyway, I'm calling the MX. Yeah, the AK and the MX, decent guns. ARX, sorry, ARX. The ARX and the AK, decent guns. The revolver she has, that she shares with Cade, or Cade, easily one of the best pistols in the game because of that scope. Basically an ACOG scope on a revolver. Incredible gun. Used to be a lot more OP before they nerfed the damage to it. I'm glad they did. That was a rough time going against that. But yeah, pretty basic op. Go ahead. I'm going to chuck him in moderate. No, basic. The reason I place him in basic, another set and forget type op. You reinforce a hatch, chuck a claw underneath it, and nobody can get into it unless they use a Thatcher EMP charge or a Twitch drone, Ash charge somehow. Yeah, there are a few ways to take them out, depending on what utility you got, but he denies a lot of walls being open because nobody knows where to look for that the Electroclaw. So even it can be sloppy when you're going to attack a wall against a Kaed with a Maverick. It can be a very risky move. You best bring a Thatcher when you're going against a Kaed. Gridlock. Very easy to understand. Great gun with the M249 saw. Got the exact same gun as Capitao, except it's a magazine fed instead of the belt fed version. The machine gun. I cannot recall the name of it. It's decent as well. It's got good damage to it apparently. I don't utilise it. I prefer the saw. I mean, ACOG sight, amazing sight. A lot of rounds, opens up walls quickly. Can't go wrong with that. The shotgun, even though it's 3-round burst, is amazing for opening up holes. Little kill holes, perfect. I don't know why you would bring the pistol, to be honest. Her gadget, really strong. Very heavy anti-roam gadget. Probably, I will not say it's as strong as a Nomad device, but it can be just as strong depending on the time lapsed in a round. Very strong, very easy to understand. You toss down the traps and forget about it. Aussie. I'm going to put him at moderate. It's pretty easy to utilise. Basically like a mute in a lot of ways, except he's got the added advantage that you put it anywhere on a doorway. You can jump over a mute jammer, however you cannot jump over a Mozzie spider. They'll get captured every time, even if you go to throw them into the room. He has P10 rating, P10, P90, P10 rating. The thing's a fucking laser. Unfortunately, it's got a low ammo count to it. Decent gun, but I can't remember the name of the other gun, but it's got a really cool animation to it. Really, really nice gun. It's probably the is it M4 Commando? I could be mixing guns up here. It's a fun gun to use though. Most people will know what I'm talking about. The shotgun, like Gridlock, amazing for kill holes. And really good for opening up walls generally too, like rotation holes. I would put it up there with the SAS shotgun as well. I believe it does better soft damage against soft walls. It does more damage than a Mira shotgun. It's a pretty good shotgun. And finally, look, we got to put the recruits in there. There will be very little use of a recruit in most gameplay. You don't need to play him. Generally, he'll be there when you start, and if you want to meme, you won't generally go back to him as a choice unless you're a tryhard or you're trying to impress somebody or whatever is going on. He's fun to use, especially the GIGN version. Like I said, Bandit's got probably the best iron sights in the game. The MP7 that the GIGN has, sorry, not GIGN, GSG9 has is pretty good. But realistically, they're meme ops. Now, I will add in the fact that the new seasonal ops, the new Phantom side ops, if I was to place Nuke into a category, I would probably place her in basic. She's invisible when she goes in front of cameras, as long as you're not sprinting and you got the gadget turned on. Decent guns, not amazing, but decent. Yeah. I think that would be. I think that would be better classified as a basic op rather than a moderate, because there's not really much to her design. She's a selfish op, which generally the selfish ops, there's not much involved in learning them because there's not much to do in regards to how their gadget is utilized. There's no crucial roles that they must fill. Yeah, I believe Nuke with the Deagle that she's got, suppressed Deagle, if you really choose to run it suppressed. Otherwise, you've got the muzzle brake, the FMG. It's a decent sidearm, even though it's only a submachine gun. You have the suppressed shotgun that both Ying and Lesion have, which close quarters, being a silent op, much like Cav, you can get in close quarters very quickly. And then you basically, once you got the Deagle, you don't really want to use the other pistol, but you have the other option. I don't even remember what it's called, but because who would use it? Yeah, so basic. And the last op for Operation Phantom Sight is Warden. And Warden, I would probably place him at a moderate level. His gadget works in regards to smoke grenades, flashes, so like Blitz's shield, flash bangs, Ying's candelas, smokes, sorry, not smoke, Capitao's smoke charges, you can see through them. What brings him down is his loadout. He's got the MPX, probably one of the weakest SMGs in the game. He's got the M4, the shotgun that the SAS ops run, M12. And he has the SMG-12, arguably one of the most difficult SMGs to control in the game, or he has the Deagle. Now it's completely up to you what you like to run. I run personally the SMG-12 and the shotgun combo because I'm not a fan of the MPX, and I like to open up kill holes where I'll just utilize the SMG-12 to try and delay, create a bit of cover fire and stuff. I prefer to use him as close engagements rather than long engagements. But yeah, because of his gadget and how it's utilized, I'm going to place him at a moderate. Apart from that, I think we're done, guys. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope it shed some light onto what ops to actually pick and choose while you're still learning Siege. Don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell notification to see when the next video goes live. Also, don't forget socials. Follow them all, and these socials, all my clan socials. So drop a like on all those, follow all those, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys.